Are you a fan of David Lynch? For the entire month of October, we're going to be talking about David Lynch movies. Make sure you subscribe so you can see what movies we're talking next. All right. Brad.
Joseph.
Gunnar. Brad. Joseph.
Gunnar.
We're back at it. We got a new set of movies we're watching. It's October. It might not be October today, depending on when I post this, but it's October season. We're doing Lynchtober, David Lynch October season. And Gunnar, what movie did we watch this week?
We watched Wild at Heart from 1990.
At Heart.
Starring Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Laura Dern,
Smoke showed up in this one.
Dude, I never found her attractive. And then for some reason this movie, I was like, she looks fucking smoke show in this one.
I think they wanted to make her, her character's obviously like a super sexual character.
Yeah.
So he made sure. Whereas in like Blue Velvet, I think she's supposed to be like 16 in that movie. So it'd be a little weird if she was smoke showed up in that.
Yeah.
No, unacceptable. Laura Dern, Stan, start to finish.
Well, yeah, because
always gorgeous,
yeah.
always beautiful.
She still looks great today too.
Absolutely,
she looks good. I just don't find her attractive.
Yeah, to each their own.
For sure.
Some older actresses, they go a little too crazy with the plastic surgeries and stuff. I think she's aged pretty naturally. I think.
Agreed.
She just has good features, but I thought she was great in this.
Absolutely.
After I've seen this and Blue Velvet, and so I feel like she's the female equivalent of Kyle MacLachlan for David Lynch.
Oh yeah.
Just they're friends or something.
She's the linchpin.
The linchpin, yes.
It's like Greta Gerwig with her Timothy Chalamet and what's the Irish girl's name? Saoirse Ronan. That one, yeah.
I've never seen anything with her, but yeah.
But yeah, this was Wild at Heart, based on a book.
Is it?
I did some research into the background of this film.
Okay.
So this film was shot 1 year after the pilot of Twin Peaks was shot. So while Twin Peaks was getting shot, one of the producers, I don't remember his name, he was reading the book because he was friends with the author, and then he told David Lynch, like, you should read this book because I want to turn it into a movie. And then David Lynch told him, what if I like the book and want to turn it into a movie?
Oh, you made this?
Yeah.
I made this.
Yeah. And so David Lynch, he read the book and he's like, yeah, fuck you, I'm making this movie. And apparently he changed a lot of it because he didn't like how the book ended. He didn't like some aspects of it. He wanted to add his own. You and I have talked about before his sort of obsession with the Wizard of Oz, and it's really apparent in this one.
Yeah, I wasn't aware that was like a thing of his, and then it was featured very prominently in this film. Like the Good Witch was like literally in it.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't know this about David Lynch. I didn't know he was a Wizard of Oz guy.
Check out our review of Lynch Oz, the documentary that came out earlier this year on Paradizo Films. That was a quick plug. Yeah. Gunnar, what's your history with David Lynch?
So, honest to God, I think the first David Lynch movie I ever watched was the 1980s Dune.
Yeah, it's a lot of people's first.
I got into the idea of Dune, but then I saw the book.
Yeah,
it's fuck that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, there's got to be a movie adaptation of it, and so I watched the 1980s one, and. Anyone would tell you that is not a David Lynch movie. I think.
Yeah, even David Lynch will tell you that's not a David Lynch movie.
Yeah, I think some studio must have just offered it to him, and he thought he could make it work out in his sort of auteur way. But it does not read like a David Lynch.
I think George Lucas wanted him to do Revenge of the Jedi, but he turned it down, and then I think he did Dune instead because he didn't get that Revenge of the Jedi money.
That does sound right. Yeah.
And then even I think he's like, no, Dune is fucking trash. Like, I hate that I did that, but I needed the money.
Which is a real shame because I feel like he deserves a second crack at science fiction. I think he could do a good sci-fi.
He has like an unproduced, rather. He has a script for a film called Ronnie Rocket, which he's been like his entire career wanting to make this Ronnie Rocket movie, and just no one ever produced it. And I've read into it a little bit. It was supposed to star like the little man from Twin Peaks who was in the Red Room or whatever it was.
Gotcha.
But that's like science fiction, but he just never was able to make it.
Interesting. Yeah. So my first thing I saw was Dune, and I don't know. My summation of that was like it's you got to enjoy it for what it is. It's goofy. It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
He bit off way more than he could chew in the sense that like the Dune book is huge, and he
Yeah.
tried to do that in like.
Imagine taking a bite out of that book.
Yeah, I mean that's why they're doing it in parts now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did you see the Denis Villeneuve?
Yes, I loved it.
Okay.
Loved it. Super excited for the second one. My girlfriend and I, that was our first date. Was
Oh, precious.
And so for our 2-year anniversary, we get to go see. The
Look
new
at
one.
that.
Look at that.
Yeah, I am a Dune fan. Maybe I'll listen to the book or read it one day. We'll see. But
Oh, there you go.
yeah, so I liked it. I liked Kyle MacLachlan's cutie in it.
He's a cutie.
Always a pleasure to see Sir Patrick Stewart on screen.
Yes, that's right. He was in Dune.
And I also really loved, I think his name's Jürgen Prochnow.
I know who you're talking about.
He was the dad in Dune, and then I know him mostly as the captain in Das Boot, the German movie. I love that.
Oh, okay.
But, so I saw that, and then I saw Blue Velvet. I think on a recommendation, somebody told me to see it, and I loved it. I thought Blue Velvet was great. It hits on all the right sort of Lynchian notes. But again, that was my first time experiencing a true David Lynch movie.
Yeah.
So I liked that. I think I started Eraserhead at one point, didn't finish it.
That one's a tough watch.
I still got to watch Eraserhead. I've never seen
That's
it.
we're gonna watch it.
That's
for
the
this
one I was
podcast,
like,
but-
if I want to watch anything, I should watch that.
Yeah, that one's a tough, especially the end. I don't know if you know what happens.
I didn't see now.
It's a fucking man. But
It's like uncomfortable, like a lot of these movies, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think I've seen clips of some of the parts of it, so
Okay.
I'm a little prepared.
Eraserhead, I saw, and then I had to watch for a class Mulholland Drive. Did not like it. I felt like it insisted upon itself too much. I
I
felt
was
like
say I know that one, but
it
why?
was really trying to be weird for weirdness' sake.
yeah,
And I feel like that's like the Lynch one that most people have seen.
yeah. That one is like, I don't know if it's his most. I don't want to say most popular, but most commercial, maybe.
I
was gonna say
definitely,
I've
that's
heard
probably
of that
what it is.
movie, but I did not realize I didn't put that together with David
Yeah.
Lynch. Who's in it?
Two girls.
Yeah,
Two girls,
I want to
okay.
say Winona Ryder, but I don't think it's her.
Okay. Winona like vibes. Okay. Good
and
enough.
Billy Ray Cyrus is in it for
He
like
is,
2
yeah, yeah.
minutes of screen time for some reason.
Star of Hannah Montana, Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yes, I
Father
want my
of Hannah
mullet back.
Montana.
That Billy Ray Cyrus.
I'd have to. Oh, very interesting.
Yeah.
Great actor of the '90s.
It felt like it just insisted upon itself and like
Yeah.
its lynchiness, and it didn't have the same type of creepiness that Blue Velvet had. And I should say too, I've seen both the original seasons of Twin Peaks, not
Okay.
the movie, not any of the new stuff.
Yeah.
And so I felt like Mulholland Drive was kind of into his Twin Peaks a bit more supernaturally side.
Yeah.
Whereas Wild at Heart and Blue Velvet are kind of on his like more just like crazy people side.
Yeah.
Definitely crazy people in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I think there's sort of two Lynch movies. There's like this. He does a thing. I don't want to say it's like it features magic, but there's like kind of like
There
a
is,
weird
yeah.
supernatural element
Yeah,
to
definitely.
some of them, and then his other stuff is it's sort of just this like we live in a crazy world with crazy people, and
Yeah.
But I liked that, and I don't know. I have mixed opinions on David Lynch. I like some of his major themes, like I dislike other stuff, but overall, I think he's a great director. I
Yeah.
do enjoy him, and I enjoyed Wild at Heart too.
Yeah, I in this movie, and I'm sure others, I've definitely noticed a certain style to his overall filmmaking.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Hitchcock, Kubrick, like kind of in that vibe.
Yeah, what do you guys think is like his like? What are some of the aesthetic or like storytelling beats that like make something Lynchian?
I noticed a lot of like super duper close angles. Like in this film, there was like there's like a very stressful flashback, and there was a drag of a cigarette that was very close. I noticed that stuck out to me at least. I'm sure
Yeah,
we've seen.
uncomfortably close angle, especially like
Yeah.
something like Inland Empire. Yeah, Inland Empire, which we'll talk about later. But
I haven't seen that one.
okay, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, and like we were saying, just crazy people, like just people saying nonsense, like just like saying the most like not even like terrifying. It's not like terrifying, but it's just like unnerving. But you're sort of like allured by it. You're like, what the
Yes.
fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
what made him say that?
Like the guy at the bar with that crazy, like, weird voice.
That threw me
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
fucking much.
Yes.
We can get into the movie, the story of the movie.
But that kind of gave, like, to me, Twin Peaks vibes of, like,
Yes.
I think he
Yeah.
likes having freaks in his movies.
Yeah,
like
that's-
the little guy, you know.
The lady with the wood who like was obsessed with the wood.
I think that's a very Lynchian theme, is having
Yeah.
like a freak with like a gimmick.
When we
Yeah.
first see Willem Dafoe, we see a bunch of larger women that are just topless and hanging about
Yeah.
too. That seemed like a him
Yeah.
addition as well.
Yeah.
I think he has this almost in that regard. I think he almost has like this sort of 1930s like circus ringmaster vibe.
Yeah,
He's
it
like,
is sort of
Yeah.
like
I want
yeah.
to bring these people on screen.
Like freak
and,
show,
Very
like,
freak
type
show,
people,
yeah. Or freaks.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen that, yikes.
I mean, yeah, that's because like I know he's
want
friends with John Waters, and John Waters same thing.
I was
just,
gonna.
like,
that was
ton of fuck-
another director I was thinking of.
Willem
like, with his
Dafoe. When
style.
I was watching this movie, I was like, he looks
He's
just
John,
like
he
John
looks
Waters.
just like I was thinking the same thing.
mustache. That's
Oh yeah,
Mustache,
The
slick back
mustache,
hair,
yeah.
like
The
yeah.
suit, yeah.
Yeah, and I think another part of his like the Lynchian Lynchness is he really loves like Americana.
Yeah.
Oh
Like, he,
yeah,
like-
big like 50s, 60s.
Yeah, like the
big
cars,
Chevys.
He likes the
yeah.
classic music, and I think
diners.
what he
Diners,
does is
yeah.
he takes that sort of that chippy 50s-ness and he mixes it with that wild unsettlingness, and that's I think a big part of his thing.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
even
there's-
Mulholland Drive is a bit less like that, but it's still very much a reflection of America, but in the like
Yeah,
more modern
but it's like Hollywood, yeah.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
okay, so this Wild at Heart movie, Sailor and Lula are the main characters. Sailor, the film opens with him like doing pretty brutal, like Nicolas Cage murder. I kind of enjoyed that.
I did too.
It was good to see him crazy from the start.
Yeah.
I don't understand. That man was trying to kill him. Why'd he get punished? I mean, he killed a man. I know why he got punished.
Right?
Like, it's-
Yeah.
I'm not that oblivious.
What's weird
but-
too is
It was
he
manslaughter.
a white dude
Yeah.
who killed a black guy in the South. You'd
Yeah.
think he'd be.
That's a
They
good
wouldn't, he
point.
wouldn't even be booked in jail for questioning after
That's
that.
a good
That
point.
is a
You
good
know,
point,
but-
Yeah.
These accents in this movie was very interesting, very Elvis inspired.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know Cage is just gonna go there and ham
Well, yeah, that's
ham it up.
100%. Did he play Elvis at some point?
No,
I
but
don't
he
think
could've.
so.
I
Yeah.
want to say this might be the closest thing to maybe.
Well, that was another thing that was added to the movie because Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern, they took a trip to Las Vegas before shooting this movie, and then they came back and told David, like, we want to have like Elvis and like Marilyn Monroe type characters. And so he was just like, yeah, fuck it. And then Nicolas Cage was like, and I think I should be wearing a snakeskin jacket. And
love
he
the
was like,
snakeskin jacket.
he was like, yeah. And so he made it. What do you say? Like,
I wrote it down. Hold on.
Did I ever tell you that this here jacket represents a symbol of my individuality and my belief in personal freedom?
About 50,000 times.
Which, as a guy in jail, you know, you don't really get that
Yeah.
individuality
Not
and
really, no.
personal freedom. So I think that's the Jackal's jacket sort of symbolizes his freedom. As a
yeah.
It really does. And then soon after he's reunited with his jacket after he gets out of jail, he goes to a hotel room and gives Laura Dern the Nicolas Cage.
Ooh.
That was something I first just as soon as I watched this, and it starts with Nicolas Cage going in and coming out of jail.
Yeah.
That's the third movie I can name where that happens in Nicolas Cage. Raising Arizona.
Okay.
Yep.
This and Con Air.
Con Air,
that's
yeah.
what I
I'm
was
like,
thinking
this guy
too,
just
yeah.
loves getting out of jail. And then what's even funnier too,
Loves,
The Rock.
loves Monopoly.
and I haven't seen The Rock. He gets out of jail in The Rock.
He's in jail at some point in The Rock. They have like magnet boots. Have you seen The Rock?
I've not seen The Rock.
Okay, they have like magnet boots, I think.
Okay, but he just loves being in jail. And then what's even funnier too is in Con Air, it's like a self-defense killing.
Right,
That's
yeah.
how he's
The
in jail.
gag
Yeah.
is that he is a
Weird
criminal.
coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, just like talking about Nicolas Cage for a second, like, you know, I know he's like a meme now, and everybody's like, oh, he does all these like shitty movies.
No, icon.
But like, dude, he was a fucking star back in the day.
Absolutely.
And you know, he didn't pay his taxes, so that's you know.
As some do.
And even if you watch like the shitty Nicolas Cage movies, he gives it his all.
Yeah,
Like,
he
he's-
fucking shows
He
up.
does.
Yeah.
He throws down. He's good. He's very
Yeah.
He's
Absolutely.
very you know, he likes to go out there and really do like character
Just like
acting.
Yeah,
very
that's-
intense and
That's always the fun shit.
yeah.
Did we all see The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
I did not.
Oh my god, I highly recommend.
Okay.
Yeah.
If not from Nicolas Cage's performance, it's like a fun I don't want to say slice of life. It's a slice of Nicolas Cage's life. It's just fun, like escapism. Like, it's kind of like a buddy comedy because he buddies up with Pedro Pascal at some point in the movie, and it's really cute.
All right, so he goes to jail for self-defense killing.
Yeah,
I think it said he only did like 22 months, so like
something like that. Yeah,
it
just
wasn't
like,
super long.
Yeah,
but
a few
still
months.
Not
good
a fun
behavior.
bit.
Yeah,
and Laura Dern, her mom wants him out.
Yeah,
he need to go. And this is another thing that I felt when watching this so Lynch. Crazy parents.
Yeah.
Is a huge part of the David Lynch stuff. So we get crazy, like, and in this one it was even more like Freudian, like weird psychosexual shit with the parents. But I think that, so we get the crazy parent mom who wants Nicolas Cage killed. And lo and behold, he gets out of jail and immediately does more crime. And so they go on the run.
Yeah.
And
it's okay.
Like, I broke my parole, by the way.
I don't want to spoil the movie.
That's the whole point of this podcast, Brad.
Okay, he gets arrested again. It's fine.
So, okay. I don't remember what I was going to say. Someone else go.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought he was great in it. He was, made for the role.
Yeah.
The rest of the cast was great too. Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah.
Always love to see him in something. He kind of plays similar characters.
Does his plot ever get resolved?
I don't remember.
I can't say I do either.
Okay, it was just David Lynch just wanted a scene of some people making out on top of him and pointing a gun at him, and then that's it.
Just a quick cameo.
Yeah, just assume he's fine.
Mm-hmm. Right, he's lived happily ever after. I think we can leave the movie with that mentality.
Yeah, which is nice too. I think his movies do typically have, sometimes not always, they have like a good ending.
That's
the good guy typically kind of wins.
That's the Wizard of Oz thing, where it's like he takes these characters onto this like crazy, like out of this world adventure, and then it all just goes back to normal.
Yeah,
like Blue Velvet, same thing. Not to spoil Blue Velvet, it goes back to everything is just nice at the end.
Yes, yeah.
Does Twin Peaks do that?
Sort of. I haven't seen the new season. I haven't seen the new season.
But I don't know. He has. I think as a filmmaker, he has a sort of nostalgia for like production code movies because I think because if you think about it, some of the situations and the story beats in them, there should be pretty tame things. Like think about the beginning of Blue Velvet, like just coming back home to see my dad because he's not doing too good, and I see my old friend from high school, and then like in this, it's like my mom doesn't want me being with this guy, and he just blows that out of proportion, and I think that gets to he has this sort of like nostalgia for almost like a quaint American
definitely
family life.
Like Twin Peaks, it's like just a cheerleader is like murdered. But then it's like a whole demonic thing.
Yeah, so he just takes it way off the rails, and I'm here for it. I love when he does that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty good. Definitely more. It was steamier than Blue Velvet, but Blue Velvet was steamy in a way different way.
Yes. It's very like
I was kind of taken back by like just the sheer amount of sex scenes and like all of that
stuff. This movie had more sex scenes than I anticipated. I don't know what I expected, honestly, because I haven't done a lot of David Lynch in my life, but I was like, oh, there's a lot of Laura Dern toplessness.
And maybe that kind of gets into the book because that doesn't seem too characteristic of him. I mean, he does do sex scenes in his stuff, but like. I can imagine the book was probably pretty steamy too, especially the two like young lovers on the run thing. That probably paid into it. So but I was there for Laura Dern boobies, like I said. She was looking good at this.
I did.
At the beginning of this.
When I was watching it, I did flag my roommate over as he was going to refill his coffee. I was like, "Hey, you ever seen? you ever seen these?"
Oh boy. And we got some good Nicolas Cage G-string too. So
ass. Me and my brother were always on the lookout for man ass in movies. Like, because that's almost it's different, obviously. But if a male actor is willing to show their bare ass, almost the female equivalent of showing boobs in a movie.
Yeah.
Few rare actors have hung dong before.
Yeah,
Harvey Keitel has hung dong a handful of times.
That is true.
I'm trying to think of some more. There's actors who don't mind showing their cock.
Well,
I'm not one of them.
Brad's not one of them. He's never shown his cock on this channel. Simon Rex in Red Rocket, I found out that was a prosthetic penis.
Sometimes they do that.
And I was like, how do they like I wonder like what the statistics of like or the how they do that.
Yeah. And it's so funny too because it's like dude, either go all in or not.
Yeah.
You know, like, I guess
Balls to the wall.
Yeah, like maybe if you're like Harvey Keitel and you've done it in multiple movies and you're super proud about it, then go for it. But
Balls to the wall.
balls to the wall, all of that with underscores. That is my Instagram. You can also follow me on Letterboxd and Twitter.
I was wondering what was happening.
Formerly X at Wildman Walgren. My Twitter is linked to my Letterboxd, so it's
Look
all
at that.
there.
It's
My
all there.
Letterboxd is pretty fire. I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah.
Do say
Yeah,
so
you were
myself.
saying before the show.
And come on, anybody who has a problem with any of my reviews or opinions, open invitation to fight. We can throw hands over what is the best David Lynch movie.
You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. Come fight Gunnar over his Letterboxd opinions.
These hands rated E for everybody.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Bringing hands to a Gunnar fight.
There you go. Walk
Okay.
That's my time, folks.
Okay, so this David Lynch film, it was I don't know. It's so okay. They're going on a big road trip. I was trying to like see if I could find any other like Wizard of Oz like allegories in this, like if there was like a lion or like Tin Men of some kind.
There's a couple like
Harry Dean Stanton be the lion because he's like kind of a
guess.
cowardly lion. Maybe
Yeah.
in some ways.
Well, he
Obviously-
wasn't even really cowardly. He just wasn't good at his job.
Yeah. But then if you're a cowardly lion, you're not very good at your job as
That's
a
a good
lion.
point.
So
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything I noticed I think was the obvious ones, like Laura Dern clicking her heels together
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
splashing the water on the picture of her mom. That was like
I didn't clock that.
Yeah, because it was like she's pouring water on the Wicked Witch
yeah.
and whatever.
And then there was the like someone was like, "Oh, that laugh sounds terrible. She sounds like a witch." Like that, I thought also was like, "Oh, that might be."
And
Wizard of Oz.
Jack Nance, who I think he appears in all of David Lynch films. He
most if not all.
Yeah, he plays like a weird guy at the motel, and he says like, "My dog, you might be thinking it looks like Toto from the Wizard of Oz." And
Another Lynchian weird guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But something else that struck me about this movie, because again, like we said, you got the Nicolas Cage, so many like the oldies, in terms of music. You get the road trip music, you get him singing, dancing, several different bars that's just playing. But then it's juxtaposed with like that insane like metal riff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like
like,
his
that's
dancing
like
is
that
just
little
like
theme.
Yeah, that
I
was
think
probably
that
my
was
favorite
interesting.
scene, honestly,
Yeah.
because it goes from fucking full on like metal, like fucking moshing and shit,
Yeah.
or seemingly so. It's that kind of vibe at least, and then it just goes straight into like an Elvis fucking "Love Me Tender" riff or whatever.
yeah. Okay, this is something in that scene.
acapella on top of that.
In this scene, when Nicolas Cage is singing Elvis, like at the bar or whatever, there was like ladies cheering. There was like I don't know if it was like a sound plug-in or whatever, but it was the same sound over and over again and like played on top of itself, and that was so distracting.
I know
I'll
what
put
you're
it here. Okay.
Yeah, I hated that.
Yeah, and I was just like, did he just like? I know it wasn't copy and paste back then, but did he just like copy and paste the same sound over and over?
Yeah, I remember hearing that too.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
He would probably say like did it on purpose to be like off-putting.
Right, yeah,
But-
it's eerie.
But also, I wouldn't put it past David Lynch to just do something because he was lazy. That's
Yes.
what. Yeah, that's where Bob came from on Twin Peaks.
Is that
just,
so?
Yeah, just the guy who plays Bob. He was just in the mirror in the background of a scene. He was like a stage hand or something. And then David walks up to him and he's just like, "Are you an actor?" And then he's like, "Yeah, it turns out I am." And he was like, "All right, you're in this scene." And then he like just created Bob because this guy was in a mirror.
I mean, hey,
Yeah.
get your SAG card.
Yeah, it's a good After
Shout out
Effects
Frank
justification.
something. I don't remember his name.
Good.
Frank Silva was his name.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he like? I'm assuming he didn't do anything else after that. Like he was just in it because he was in the mirror.
Yeah, I think he was just he was known for playing Bob, and then he died of complications with HIV.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think I don't want to.
You know this guy's story. He was like, yeah.
I got really big to Frank Silva.
But that's also a David Lynch thing to do. Maybe if he hadn't died, because David Lynch, similar to like Wes Anderson, I think
Yeah.
he's one of those directors who like really connects and like makes friends with actors, and that's why he brings so many of them back
Yeah.
for different projects and
100%,
stuff like
yeah.
that. So, which I don't know how he is to work with, assuming pretty good, or like I could imagine he's either pretty good or he's like very weird at first, but you like learn his clicks and get used to him.
Yeah, I've heard from actors who like work on his films like that they really enjoy working with him, and because you would think like just from all like the sex and like exploitation, it's like it would be hard to, and especially because of how weird he is, it would be like uncomfortable on set. But I mean, just like everybody, like at least that I've seen interviews with, like really love working with him.
Interesting.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Lynch, you were doing a good David Lynch impression. Yeah. He
Yeah.
kind of talks like he has that upper.
It's the only
Midwest
impression
accent.
I can do.
He's from northern Minnesota, I think, so he has that
okay.
like upper Great Lakes
Yeah.
nasal.
Yeah. He's always like, today the weather is.
That's it. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it. You can dial that in a bit more, but you're close.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's my one and only impression, ladies and gentlemen.
Hell yeah,
David Lynch. It will get me nowhere in life. That.
You'll kill at David Lynch screenings.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. But I would put it up there. I think it was better than Mulholland Drive. I enjoyed it more. Most people would probably say it's better than Dune. You've seen Inland Empire? Did you like that or this more?
This like story wise, I mean, Inland Empire is like just full blown experimental film. It's like not like a structured narrative.
Okay, I don't really know anything about it.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well.
What about Lost Highway?
I haven't seen Lost Highway.
I want to see that really bad.
All right.
I know
we're adding
like,
it to the list.
Kind of the gist of it, and
it's also like it's about Hollywood, right?
About Hollywood, or also like about someone may have said to me once it's about like David Lynch's experience with 9/11. Like I don't know how, but I'm sure if I watched it, I might be able to.
It might make sense.
Hopefully, pick up on what they meant by that. But yeah, I hope he does another show. I don't know. He's getting up there.
He is getting up there. I'm really worried about him, especially because I haven't met him yet.
Most Hollywood people, though, especially I feel like with him, they will work until the day they die.
Well, he hasn't,
because they love to work.
He hasn't like done anything really. Apparently, I saw something online the other day saying
the revival was.
I was gonna say, was that him at all, or was
that was him? Yeah,
okay,
that's fairly recent.
2017, I want to say.
Yeah, in like Hollywood years, especially for an older guy, I'd say that's recent.
Yeah, I heard or I saw online he apparently he's shooting something in West Hollywood. He was spotted shooting something in West Hollywood.
Yeah, I think I may have heard about that too.
But aside from that, he did like a Netflix short film like where he interviews a monkey, and that's like the most recent thing he.
That sounds like some shit Werner Herzog would do.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Interviews a monkey. What do they discuss?
It'd be cool if he did it with one of the sign language monkeys. And he
that would be fucking cool. Yeah.
He talks. It's like
Coco
all shot in
the
black
gorilla.
and white. He asks this monkey questions, and then it's just kind of like.
It'd be funny if it was like one of those like bird things where they like drop a seed and it'll knock on a thing, but it was like he just asked it yes or no questions,
Right?
Yeah.
Just to see what he could like divine doing like monkey augury.
Yeah, he like initially like didn't even want to be a director. He wanted to be a painter, and then he wasn't making any money as a painter, so someone paid him to
Bush
film
ran for
something.
president.
Yeah, that's I don't remember what my joke was going to be, but
Painter, poor money. No money.
Yeah, and so he started directing, and then he realized like this is a different avenue for art, and did Eraserhead. And
he is a very visual artist, visual director too. I think of all like the flashback scenes with like the fire and the close-ups, that was almost sort of like painting-esque. And then in like Blue Velvet, I think of, maybe there's some other scenes that aren't coming to me, but with like the ear in the ground at the beginning, and it slowly comes away, and there's like all the ants and stuff like that. The very close-up of like almost like a still life, a close-up painting of an inanimate object that clocks with me.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I would say that's featured prominently in this film at least.
Yeah. Well, back to the story. So
all films, rather.
So Sailor witnesses the death of Lula's father before he ever hooks up with her.
He poured kerosene on himself.
But then we find out it was this guy whose name I don't remember. Santos. Yes, Marcellus Santos, and the mother. And they have been secretly, shacking up.
Crazy parents.
Yeah.
David Lynch.
I
wonder how his relationship with his mother was.
I wonder how all of his relationships are, honestly. But from the sounds of it, it doesn't seem cancelable.
Well, yeah, Eraserhead, he said, is like about his, like, he wrote that film because of how he was feeling, like, when he first became a father.
Oh.
Yeah. So it is, like, you know, something there about parenthood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what was the Santos guy? I don't know the actor's name.
I could tell you, but I can't tell you at the moment.
He was great bad guy, even better Lynchian bad guy. Like, I love that scene when he's on the payphone. He's like, I got a problem. Well, actually, I got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was great, just bad guy line delivery.
Well, yeah, so the mom hires Santos, and then he hires 2 other people to take care of Sailor for him through this weird rich guy who has naked
hangs
women.
around with naked ladies all day.
Yeah.
Just talk about like silver dimes or something.
Yeah,
constantly.
you have to pay him 2 silver dimes, and then he will do a job for you. He sends 2 hitmen.
Yeah.
One is one like a black lady or a black man, or who are the people who attacked Harvey Dean Stanton?
I think those were the ones that he sent, right?
Yeah,
I believe so.
it was like a black man.
I had to watch this during work, so
Okay.
I don't think I couldn't clock every single person.
Well, yeah, this is another thing, is this movie is not available anywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, you texted me about that.
Yeah.
And I hadn't started it yet, but I'm like, I'm just assuming I'll find it, and I did find it.
Yeah, same.
And it was subtitled in English, and the subtitles were so good.
Really?
It had the name of the songs that would play.
No way.
It had like the action subtitled in. It's like they're both screaming, orgasmic moans, like everything.
Oh.
I'm like, and then it said like subtitle that like crazyviclavs.vpn.net or whatever. Like the site it was from is
Damn.
like, I'm like, dude,
They
Viclav
really-
or whatever
yeah,
did
fucking-
great subtitling work.
Wow, it's impressive.
Good for them. Yeah. I watched it on some website, and then I fell asleep, and then I watched it again at work on my phone, which David Lynch would not approve of.
No.
It's such a sadness that you think you've seen a film on your fucking telephone. Get real.
On a fucking cell phone. What is it?
Watch her on a fucking telephone. Get real.
And if I say how I watched it, I will incriminate myself.
Yeah.
I watched it on TV, but I ported it in from my laptop, and I didn't have the audio output to the TV, so I'm like, why is it so fucking quiet for like the first 5 minutes? And then I walked past my laptop and I like put my ear up to it. I'm like, oh, that's okay, yeah. So I had to change
Makes
it over,
sense.
but yeah, man, I watched it and I deep cleaned my room, I vacuumed, and I did some fall cleaning. So I guess we all had a little bit of a different watch experience with it, but
Productive. I love that.
Productive experience, yeah.
I thought the pacing on it was pretty good. It wasn't boring. I mean, you'd say
It wasn't
you fell
boring,
asleep, but
yeah, but it was also like midnight when I was watching
yeah,
it. So,
fair.
Yeah.
But the pacing wasn't good.
There-
I watched a pretty boring movie recently, and when I was watching, I'm like,
Say it.
Lake Mungo.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
It is a Australian
that's
horror
why.
movie. And
Okay.
it's not really a horror movie. It's kind of just spooky. It's about like ghosts.
It's like, oh, okay. I was gonna say,
And
it's like thriller.
It's better than Blair Witch Project.
Really?
Blair Witch
Oh,
Project
okay.
in my book so overrated.
I've never
Okay.
seen it because I feel like I would have that same opinion.
It's
I'm
just-
like,
it's
it's the
just
first found
famous.
footage.
Yes,
that's
exactly
it. I've
it.
seen good found footage, fake found footage.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, this was part of it because it was like a fake documentary. So they like
Okay.
sat down with the families and everything, and it really just felt like it was like an essay trying to pad itself out to that hour and
Okay.
a half runtime. And I was watching that, and I was just like, "Are all movies like this? Like, why am I not enjoying this?" And then we went straight into another movie after, which was a banger. Me and my brother right now we're doing Spook Fest 2023, and so we watched Lake Mungo, and we're like, we both I think claimed to like it more than we actually did.
Okay.
Because a lot of people really like it, and they're like, "Oh, this is like such a groundbreaking thing," and people like dick ride like the themes of like death and the permanence, and it's the end that's coming for its all, and I'm like, yeah, okay. Like if I wanted, like, I don't know, they could have done that better and in a more spooky way, and if like they just didn't lean one way or the other into like jump scare ghost shit or like paranormal activity shit. It kind of just tried to walk this middle ground and failed miserably.
Okay.
But then we watched Martyrs 2008 French horror movie.
Okay.
Single most disturbing movie I have seen in my life.
Really?
Hands down. I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. It was pure heat.
No
Apparently,
way.
So we watched this other French horror movie, Inside, and apparently they're a part of this same style. It's called like New French Extremity, and they're, according to Wikipedia, characterized by extreme graphic violence, often sexual and gore. And it was like started it's like turn of the century. Like Inside came out in like 2011, and then this Martyrs came out in 2008, and I was like afraid to watch it. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle this, the reputation it had, but it was a really great movie.
No way. Yeah, I mean, the French were always like ahead of the curve with like pretty much every type, like genre of cinema.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just like more like accepted there than it is in like other countries. Like
Yeah,
the
they're
content,
bolder.
but also like filmmaking itself. It's like a big deal over there.
Yeah. And they also have that sort of avant-garde tradition with art
Yeah.
that goes
Yeah.
back so like far to like, French Revolution days. And, like,
Yeah.
Marquis de Sade was writing BDSM books in the 1700s.
Yeah.
It's just pretty nuts. The frogs are wilding. That's all I'll say. They're wilding over there. Yeah, it was so funny. One of the actresses in Martyrs, I literally like said to my brother, I'm like, she was so like hot. I'm like, I'm going to start pacing around this room like a zoo animal. But she was so hot in like the most disgusting, like European, French, greasy way. Like she had like big front teeth, just like always had her mouth agape, and like these eyes. I'll show you guys a picture.
All right,
Okay,
yeah.
I was
I'll
just
put it
saying.
up here too for people to
I'm
see.
not going to be able to pronounce this name, but I don't
for
know.
it.
There was just something crazy.
Marion Cotillard.
I don't know. But yeah, that was just like the most. It had an emotional depth to it. It delivered on the scares without doing too many jump scares.
Okay.
American horror, I feel like, kind of uses jump scares as a crutch.
Way too much.
I saw that Smile movie last year.
I didn't even want to see that shit. I was like, it's so fucking...
I don't see many modern horror movies.
Yeah.
I didn't watch. I don't like.
Did you see Terrifier?
No.
Okay.
People really like that. That's the clown.
That
People
was-
did
that was-
like that.
yeah,
one.
that
I haven't
was-
seen it yet, but I'm curious.
I wouldn't say good, but it was like unsettling.
hype.
Yeah.
kind of thing. Okay.
Literally until my freshman year of college, the scariest movie I'd ever seen was Jaws. I was so afraid of horror movies, and then this girl got super obsessed with wanting to watch Hellraiser, and I was like, oh, gee. I'm like, desperate for pussy voice. Yeah, sure, we can watch that, and we watched it, and I was like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna
Yeah.
be. So like that was like when I realized I could.
Yeah,
handle
those movies
a
are more
horror movie.
corny than anything. I'd
Yeah,
say.
yeah, I don't know. It's just the gore. Like,
Yeah, it's body horror.
Yeah.
If anything. That's how I see him, at least. My roommate loves
Yeah.
Hellraiser.
yeah, me and my brother said that too. It's like he is more afraid of like the psychological element of the
Yeah.
stuff, and me, there's parts where I have to like look away in certain movies. And I'll tell you, Martyrs, if you have a light stomach, you might be looking away a lot of it.
There was one, I want to say it was from a few years ago. I wonder if you had seen it. It's a Japanese film. I have no idea what it's called. It's all like one shot, and it's like about
Old
a
Boy.
zombie. What'd you say?
Old boy.
Korean. Old Boy's a banger though.
It's about like a zombie outbreak, but it's like a found footage, and it's just like, but it's.
That sounds great.
I'd have
No,
to
it's not
find
ringing any
it.
bells,
I'll put it here.
There's
But
great Japanese horror movies too.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Have you guys seen any?
Not honestly.
none that I can think
I don't think
of.
so. No.
People love House from the. which is
Yeah,
from the
it's
70s.
okay. Yes.
You have seen that?
Yeah.
I saw it a while ago. What did you think?
I think it's like a David Lynch film.
Okay, Japanese David
Yeah.
Lynch. I agree. It has
I mean-
a sort of 70s camp to it.
Is it-
Especially, like, I feel like with that movie, there's a bit of a culture barrier. Like, what
Yeah.
they find, like, scary.
I mean, the film was written by a 10-year-old girl.
Oh, really?
Sort of.
I don't
The
know why it's
director.
famous.
What is it about?
It's about like
Chicks
it's
in a
like a
house.
bunch of like girls like go to this house and then they're like it's like spookiness.
It's like a
But-
haunted house.
Like abandoned
Yeah.
house, haunted house. Like.
But
like
it's-
some chick's creepy old aunt's house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's become it was
It's like a cult classic.
yeah, it's a
right?
cult classic. It's like in recent years, it's
Yeah.
become like one of those things that like you'll see people wearing like the T-shirt of like the movie,
The logo,
the
yeah.
logo. It's like a house like cat thing. I don't know. How would you describe the logo?
It says house in like a weird like spooky font.
Yeah.
It's spooky font. That's how I would describe it with cat eyes. in
Yeah,
it.
but the director, I watched a video essay on it. That's why I
Okay.
know this.
Okay.
The director,
Yeah.
like, he wanted to make something that was like scary, so he went to his 10-year-old daughter and was like, just tell me like everything that like is in your dreams or that scares you, and then he took that and like added all those things into the movie.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. Also, all the girls in the movie are underage, and they're like naked throughout most of the movie.
I'm so Japanese. I'm sorry.
I'll pass on that.
So Japanese.
No, thank you.
That was what shocked me about Martyrs, that French movie. To go back to that, I think it applies to American movies too. I don't know if it's also for TV, but you can't kill a kid on screen. You can like have the scene where they get killed, but it can't like show the killing of a kid on screen. I know that's 100% true for everything on TV. So you can't show a kid die. And so there's a part where there's several parts of this movie with kids in it, so I won't be spoiling it by saying it, but there's a part where like a kid's getting chased, and me and my brother are like, can kids die on screen in France? We're about to find out. Oh. Sure as shit, she gets just a shotgun hole blown through her. She's like a 12-year-old girl. We're like, all right, they do it hardcore over there.
Well, and it too, it eats, like, he just eats a kid.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah. Oh. But is it graphic? I haven't seen it.
He just like swallows it whole. I don't know if that's
pretty graphic. They don't really utilize like the off-screen deaths a lot in those
maybe
movies.
it's just TV that you can't show it.
It could be because what did I see recently? There's kids.
Pet Cemetery.
The Evil Dead Rise.
Oh,
there's like kids. I don't remember if they all die necessarily, but they're getting fucked up.
Mm-hmm. It's like in video games, you can't that's why there's no kid characters, or the kids in Skyrim are invincible. It's that same law.
Oh my god, I hate when I'm playing GTA 5 and accidentally like hit a dog. I'm like, why is this a thing? You should never have made this a doable thing. Like, what the fuck, Rockstar?
But yeah, to get back to Asian horror movies, you've seen Old Boy? I don't think it's a horror movie.
I haven't seen it. I just know it's a thing. I know there's a remake of it. I know there's.
It's so good.
I know about the movie. I know how it ends. The big fucked up twistiness.
I didn't know that.
I know the big long shot.
Everyone knows
the hallway.
That's pretty much my knowledge. And Josh Brolin remake.
Spike Lee directed.
Yeah, Spike Lee.
Oh,
yeah, which is so funny too, because there was Martyrs that came out in 2008, and of course they did an American English language remake. And I'm like, get that guy. Why would they do that? Get that.
Who directed
garbage.
it?
I don't know. Probably some no-name horror movie director, but
dude. No, finish. Yeah, sorry.
They just love massacring foreign movies over here.
Mm-hmm.
That's I found out fucking Leonardo DiCaprio was doing a remake of Another Round, that Danish movie with Mads Mikkelsen that came out a few years ago, where he's like dancing and drinking.
Yeah,
and I was like, dude, like everyone was like, this is a great fucking foreign movie. The same thing with the fucking Kevin Hart and Bryan Cranston Invincibles movie.
Yeah, the one where Bryan Cranston's in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
that was a French movie that gets like. I'm like, dude, get fucking... Same thing, the fucking Will Ferrell, Julia Louis-Dreyfus movie about a snowstorm, and then it's like... Downhill or whatever it's called. I'm like, get some fucking original ideas, guys.
Well, that, and I think your average American can't be fucked to watch a language movie.
No, they're like, no, I'm here at the movies. I don't want to read.
Yeah. I'm watching a movie, not reading a book.
I'm watching here.
Yeah. But the guy who did Old Boy... I was telling my brother we might have to, because maybe our theme this year will just be all foreign horror movies. Because he did
go hard.
A movie called Thirst about a Korean Catholic priest who gets turned into a vampire from a blood transfusion, and that movie is so good. That's a very good movie.
Really?
That's a fun premise.
It is, yeah.
Have you seen Memories of a Murder?
Oh God, who is that?
That's Bong Joon-ho.
No, I have not, but I know about it. Yeah.
Everyone says it's his best movie, and I was like, that movie is fucking boring, and it just I wasn't into it. Parasite guy.
What's Bong's big one? Parasite. I've seen
Parasite. Snowpiercer.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Me either. But
I'm a Chan Wook Park guy. The Old Boy, Thirst, The Handmaiden. That movie, again, underrated banger. No one knows about that movie. It's so good. It's a lesbian romance story. And so it's adopted from a book by this famous British lesbian romance novelist, Sarah Waters. And she writes these romance novels that take place in the Victorian era.
Ooh.
And so he did this. It's the same sort of premise, but instead it takes place in 1920s Korea when it's controlled by the Japanese Empire. So the costumes are just so cool. The art from a very interesting time period, and a very interesting story. It's a long one, but it's good.
Is it like a thriller or is it?
It's a thriller.
Okay.
It's very much a thriller. It's really good. He loves twists. Chan Wook Park. You don't know what he's gonna throw at you, but that's good. I want to watch a few more Japanese horror movies. I've seen Tetsuo the Iron Man. It's like a body horror thing about a guy who just keeps putting pipes in his body, and it's just all gore. That's all it is, but it's good.
I saw a foreign movie that was, I don't know if it was body horror necessarily. It was a woman who kept don't even know how to script. It was called Titan, I think. Titan with an E at the end. And I believe might be French, but this woman pretty much she like gets a brain injury when she's like a kid, like in a car accident. So she gets a plate in her head, and then like pretty much in her fast forward, she's an adult, and like she's becoming more and more like metal.
That's kind of sounds like the Japanese one I saw.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I love some good body horror. I don't know, like, that's what I tell my brother when we were watching Martyrs, and it was just the most graphic shit I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just like, he's like, oh, I'm like, just focus on how fake it is. Just keep telling yourself that doesn't look real, like real enough blood, you know?
It's too red.
Yeah, it doesn't have that consistency of blood. It's too like jam looking consistent.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
I recommend that. I recommend, anybody watch some foreign horror movies because there's a lot of good ones. And you know, I think especially in the U.S., horror movies, they kind of have a reputation as not being particularly serious. Obviously, some of them are, but you got to think the majority of them that don't come... Like, if you looked at a chart of every horror movie, most of them wouldn't be that serious. But I think when they do horror in different places, they try and do it, you know, a bit more self-aware and self-serious.
Yeah. This is the last point on horror, and then we'll get back to the other one. What do you think about Sam Raimi?
I mean, he's a Southeast Michigan.
Yeah, that's what.
Went to Groves, dude.
Yeah,
Love that.
Dude,
hometown hero for us.
I always think like, do I actually like Evil Dead or like those movies, or is it just because I like Sam Raimi and I like Spider-Man?
Those Spider-Mans are great.
The Spider-Mans are great.
I think those were probably the last good superhero movies before we got stuck with the Marvel slop. I could be wrong. There might be a few bangers, but I think that was the last.
The Batman is great.
I would say they're definitely not all
Nolan
good, but there's a good handful. There's a handful, I would say.
Obviously.
Yeah.
That was
Even the Matt Reeves Batman. Did you see that one?
I have not seen that one.
Oh.
Is that the new one?
The new one, yeah.
I want to. I haven't seen it.
It's very good.
It's good. It's good. Like we get like detective Batman, like Arkham level Batman.
Yeah,
it's
it
really
is
nice.
like because you like thrillers, so it's not obviously it's not like it's a Batman movie. It's not like a fucking scary like horror movie, but it is like a really good like thriller. It's like Zodiac,
and because it is Batman, you kind of already know who the bad guy is.
Yeah.
We got Robert Patman as Batman.
Pattinson,
Robert Pattinson, yeah. That's good. I like him. I think he's a good guy.
He's for the boys now.
Yeah.
Speaking of fucking 9/11, okay, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and then we'll get back to the movie.
Robert Pattinson, you go speaking of 9/11.
No, okay, I just found out about this like last week. There was a movie called Remember Me, and I had always like seen it at like Blockbuster or whatever.
Yeah, me
It's
too.
just like Robert Pattinson's sitting in some girl like hugging.
Isn't that his obligatory cancer movie?
No. So sort of. I think I haven't watched it. I only found out. I always thought it was just like a corny romance movie.
Yeah.
The movie ends with him dying in 9/11. The movie ends with someone saying like, "Oh, like today's September 11th," and then he's standing in a building, and then it pans out, and then you realize he's in the Twin Towers.
Is it like, does he like know what's about to happen? Is there like
No.
some supernatural? Oh, so he doesn't like know.
He's like sad because his brother died, and then by the end of the movie, he finally comes to terms with his dead brother, and then he's in 9/11.
Grim.
They wrote an entire movie just to kill a guy in 9/11.
Yes.
There's a genre of 9/11 movies. There's
there's-
Loud, Incredibly Close. There's the Adam Sandler one, which I can't remember.
Nick Cage did one where he was a firefighter with a mustache.
Yeah, and then
Adam Sandler?
Yes, and it's Adam Sandler and Don Cheadle. And I heard someone once describe it as the movie should have been called I don't know if I can say the R slur here, but
You can say
all right.
it.
They were saying it should be called the 9/11 retard because it's Adam Sandler and he like loses his wife and like kids in 9/11 and he just like regresses into like this like I don't know, like just like childhood-ish state. Like he just wants to sit at home and play video games. And
Really?
Don Cheadle has to like get him to get over the death of his family. It sounds like the most bizarre thing.
Yes.
I have not. Well, I'm gonna check that one out because I've never heard. Did the Pete Davidson movie? Does his dad die in 9/11 in that one, or is he just
I
a
think
fire?
this place after.
Yeah, it's afterwards.
Okay.
He's long gone, I believe, by the time the movie starts.
I'm
Okay.
gonna have to figure out the name of the Adam Sandler.
Yeah, I really want to see that movie.
It sounds insane.
Is it like a comedy?
I think it's so bad that it's funny, and that's
Oh,
why people like think about it like, in the way that they do.
That sounds like that. What's his name? Philip Seymour Hoffman movie where his wife dies and then he just like progressively loses his
Leaving
mind.
Liza or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah, I just know. I haven't seen it. I just know he like ends up. getting addicted to huffing like RC plane.
Good.
Yes,
fuel,
yeah.
and, like, he has to like go to the hobby shop to get it.
Yeah.
That's a guy I haven't seen that, but I can't really name a movie that he's in that's not good. I mean,
Yeah.
Charlie Wilson's War, that's a little mid, but he's great in it. He's the best actor in that movie.
The Master, fucking phenomenal movie.
I haven't seen it, but
Okay.
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights.
That's a 5 out of 5.
The
movie.
Hunger Game. He's in The Hunger Game. I haven't
He
seen
is
it.
in
I
the
haven't
Hunger
seen
yeah.
those.
Yeah. They're fine. They're big franchise book films.
Yeah.
I went to the DVD store with my girlfriend the other day, and they had like buy 2 get 5 free, and she got all the Hunger Games movies. So I think it's only a matter of time till I'm next.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's great. Gone too soon. Schenectady, New York. You seen that?
I have not, no.
That's Charlie Kaufman.
Yeah.
Very, very head fucky movie. Very good movie though. You guys like Charlie Kaufman?
I do.
I
like being John Malkovich.
I'm
That's a
blanking.
banger.
I would say I'm
Little Miss
blanking
Sunshine
currently.
is
I have seen both of these, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's Charlie Kaufman.
Charlie Kaufman. Okay.
Yeah.
What's Sideways? Was that him?
I think so. I haven't seen it, but I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
he's
might have
great.
been,
I think he's writing something new right now. So
He did. Didn't he do that thing? He did one on Netflix. It was called, like, I Want to Kill Myself or something like that.
Oh yeah, it's like I have to go now.
Something like
But
that.
then there's also I Think You Should Leave on Netflix.
Yeah, I think you should.
Charlie Kaufman actually wrote a lot of those.
Charlie
sketches.
Kaufman wrote
He
I Think You
wow.
Should Leave.
He wrote Driving Crooner, and everyone.
Who'd have thought?
All right, but David Lynch, he wrote this film, Wild at Heart. Willem Dafoe gets fucking his head blown off. That was pretty cool.
It was
War
pretty
was
cool.
enjoyable.
When
Yeah.
we first see Willem Dafoe in this movie, I thought he was wearing braces.
Yeah, no, he just has like fucked up
Yeah,
teeth.
he just has gross prosthetics.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting too, having both sort of those passions in the movie, because you can make a movie with a lot of violence and gore, and you can make also a movie with a lot of sex, and sometimes that means you have a very like sexually violent movie, like Blue Velvet. That is a very
yeah.
sexually violent movie. This, I think, it kind of it separates those two things and puts them on display in their own camps. There's like the sexual passion and like
Yeah.
the violent passion of it. And I think that's also why the fire motif throughout it really works. Is it's like the fire of like romance and like
Yeah.
physical passion, also like the fire of like violence and
Yeah.
destruction. And I think, I don't know if that was intentional. Or
Yeah.
not. I don't know. He's a
I
smart
mean, I
guy.
could see
He
it.
probably
It's
was.
deeper than what I thought. It was just, there's some fire. That's pretty.
Something that did sort of, because you were talking about the pacing earlier,
Mm-hmm.
I found they kept on like cutting to the story, like they were telling stories. Like Laura Dern tells a story about her cousin who like put cockroaches in his ass, and like
Yeah,
Nicolas Cage
that
tells a
was
story
very
about like
interesting.
What was his name? Jingle Jeb or whatever.
something like that.
Yeah, he had like she was like just autistically obsessed with Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm like that's David Lynch freak. Yeah.
And then Nicolas Cage like had a girlfriend who he kept slapping her ass, and like that. I'm sure there was some reason for these like stories that were kept on showing up, but I was just like, I don't know. Like I don't like when things get strayed from the story.
Yeah. When
yeah.
Nicolas Cage would like talk about like past sexual experiences with other women, I'm like,
Yeah.
Fake woman. No girlfriend wants to hear
Yeah.
who and how you used to
Yeah.
fuck. Like no woman would be like turned on by hearing about you banging your ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
thought
clocked that
was
too.
really funny.
Like, no, they don't. They wanted to know. Depending on how deep in the relationship you are, sure, they may want to know who your past
Yeah.
partners were
But
at
he's
one
like,
point,
yeah,
but you don't need to know the
grabbed
depths.
This girl, I did like a method I invented.
Yeah.
He's like explaining it to his girlfriend, and she's like, "Tell me more about her." I'm
Yeah.
like, "What?"
And the Willem Dafoe scene with Laura Dern, that scene was really unsetting. I was
Yeah,
like, this
that was
is
my least
fucking
favorite scene.
weird.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, I know that's like the
closet scene in
character.
Blue Velvet.
That
Yeah.
and her flashback scenes with her father. Those were also
Yeah.
these are not no boy.
No, that wasn't her father. That was her uncle. I
pardon me.
believe.
You know what this movie was really giving to me was Natural Born Killers.
I haven't seen Natural Born Killers, but that
It's a very similar thing, like criminal couple on the run, just
Okay.
with a lot of
You know-
flashbacks in it.
I was about to say that was written by David Lynch, but I think it was written by
Oliver
Tarantino.
No, I think it's Oliver Stone.
Oliver
written
Stone?
and directed. He directed it. Which I don't know. He could have wrote it, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure. But I don't know. It's good. It reminded me a lot of it. Just kind of in a shittier way. I
Yeah.
would say Natural Born Killers is a shittier Wild at Heart. But I don't know. All Oliver Stone movies have similar flaws to me. I do love a lot of his stuff, but like I'm willing to point out where the flaws are in what he does. Like chief among them, me and my brother cracked the code. First 2 acts are amazing, and then like there's the second act climax, and then just nothing fucking happens, and then you get the final climax. Like if you guys seen Scarface, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
wrote that, didn't direct it. After he kills his boss, and then gets the girl, he sees the blimp, until the end final shootout, that hour of the movie is so fucking boring. Nothing happens, and it's a huge chunk of the movie.
Yeah, I remember I watched that recently for the first time a couple of years ago, and I remember being like, "Oh, the first half of this movie's very interesting."
Yeah, JFK is kind of like that too. The second half really drags.
Yeah, that's one I haven't watched because I heard it's so long and drags.
I actually watched it because it is very long and drags, but I watched it on a plane ride back from Europe, and that was
Well, that's
the perfect plane
Yeah,
movie. That's when
honestly,
you watch something
Yeah.
like that.
And then he just became obsessed with JFK after that.
Yeah, he still is.
Yeah.
He's a weird dude. He's a dead.
he's this close to cracking the case.
He's pretty close.
He's
Gotta
a
hand it
he's a
to
big Putin sympathizer.
Is he?
Yeah, he like
He did do the Edward Snowden movie.
yeah he's got some interesting political opinions. He's kind of because he did an interview with Putin in the Kremlin.
Really?
And it's one of my favorite
I'm not-
clips of all time. They're walking down the hallway together in some big hallway in the Kremlin, and he says to Putin, he says, do you ever just have a bad day and come in here and just freak out, let it all out? And so the interpreter says that to Putin. Putin says something, interpreter just goes to Oliver Stone. He goes, I'm not a woman, so I don't have bad days. Fucking Vladimir Putin said, I'm not a woman, so I don't have bad days.
It's on brand.
Funny. But yeah, sorry, you're saying something about the pacing?
I don't remember. This movie's fine. No, it's a really good movie. It's
It was good. I
but it's
enjoyed
also
myself.
just like I don't think it's like essential viewing if you're a David Lynch fan.
I think and that would honestly be one of my biggest critiques of it is it kind of feels like a paint by numbers David Lynch.
Yeah.
Which isn't to say it's bad. David Lynch has good numbers to paint by. But as far as like his stuff goes, like
it doesn't hold up on its own. It's not like if you're thinking about David Lynch films, you're not thinking about Wild at Heart.
No, yeah. I was surprised none of my friends on Letterboxd had seen it. So
Okay.
I was like, this movie must be. And yeah, it's not for streaming on anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure when it came out, the critical reception was probably similar to any David Lynch movie. But I don't
this
know.
was just like David Lynch does like an action, not even action film, just like a, I don't know, adventure film.
It had the violence of an action film, which was cool. Yeah. I thought it was nice. Yeah. Because, like I said, it took that violence and kind of separated it, which was cool. And I'm sure he had fun with the gore and everything.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks, there's a little bit of graphic imagery like that. There's nothing really like
Especially
that.
for TV.
Yeah, for TV.
Yeah.
Twin Peaks was some real spooky shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that like changed TV forever. Twin
It did,
Peaks
yeah.
did.
It comes up on I watch YouTube channels. They're like top 10, top 20, everything, and Twin Peaks always comes up on the television ones.
Yep.
In a good way.
Yeah, of course.
Not like top 10.
worst.
No, literally never.
All right, we're running low on battery. What give our last thoughts, Brad? We'll start with you.
There's a line in this movie that says, "You're giving me a boner" with a capital O, and I need someone.
Yeah.
I need someone to explain that to me.
Yeah.
Maybe the way they pronounce "you're giving me a boner," like I don't know.
I don't know.
Like
maybe
a Boston
it's just,
act, give me a boner.
So yeah, you liked it? What'd you think?
Yeah.
I liked it. David Lynch is a new experience for me, but this one, I said kind of earlier, like I can see his style in this film, like with the cigarette shot, for example, and all of his like weird pitch changing characters and whatnot. So it's entertaining at the very least. Yeah. And like I said, I did enjoy this film.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's
Gunnar.
really all I got. You guys are more the film guys of this pod.
Well, entertaining at the very least. That to me sounds like what I would give it, which is a solid 3 out of 5.
Okay.
Like I said, just to reiterate, basically, I kind of gave my final thoughts. It's very paint by the numbers for a David Lynch movie, but David Lynch has some good numbers to paint by. So I'd say 3 out of 5. Not bad, not amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. And I think we'll see you next time. Big peace. Pew, pew, pew.